must talk about Aubrey O'Day and her crossover connections between Diddy, Playboy, and the Trump family. I'm not going to do a full deep dive on Aubrey O'Day. We're going to do a very brief overview of how she got into the industry, how she met Diddy, and how she became so outspoken about how horrific Diddy is in present day. Aubrey O'Day was discovered back in 2004 when she was about 20 years old. She's currently 40 years old today. A lot of us know Aubrey O'Day from her tumultuous relationship with Pauly D. And while Aubrey O'Day has been a somewhat controversial figure, she's gotten herself into a few scandals. I think she will play a very important role in the ultimate downfall of Diddy. So Aubrey O'Day grew up on the stage. She was very into theater as a child, and she would ultimately go to college where she would study drama and political science. Aubrey was a talented vocalist and a very talented dancer, and after watching 2 seasons of MTV's hit television show P. Diddy's Making the Band, she decided to audition herself. The premise of Making the Band was virtually you would come and audition. If you made it through, you and other contestants who also made it through would be paired together, and P. Diddy and the other judges would get together and they would create music groups. Easily one of the most successful groups to come out of Making the Band was Danity Kane, a girls group that P. Diddy created that included Aubrey O'Day. After winning their season of Making the Band, Danity Kane was offered a contract through P. Diddy's label, Bad Boy Entertainment.
Aubrey? You hang around black people? Got some black in your family? Something like that? You dance like you do. Y'all should all look at her and realize that she's dancing, she's feeling the music.
Within 2 years of Aubrey's life-changing audition, she went from living a very normal life to being a part of a girls group who had a debut album go #1 on Billboard's Top 200. And later in 2006, Danity Kane would begin opening for figures such as Christina Aguilera and the Pussycat Dolls. Just 2 years after the group had reached their peak success, Diddy made the decision in 2008 to fire Aubrey O'Day, and by 2009, the group would be disbanded entirely.
So now let's get to me. The vision that I had for the group, this ain't the vision that I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I don't work these amount of years to have you talk to me this way.
I'm not meaning
so I don't want you in the group no more. That's where I'm at with it. Okay. All right, because I don't want to even have to have this conversation. And anybody else that want to go with it could go with it. That's the way I feel, and this is the point of where it's coming down to. That's where it's at. Because I'm telling you right this, I don't like her energy. I don't like her style and direction where she's going with it. I don't like what she does to the brand when she's wilding out there, being overly raunchy, promiscuous. But there's nothing else to talk about. Would you like to go with her? Would you like to go with it? Would you like to think about it? I'm going to give you some time to think about it. She's not going to be in Danity Kane.
Just as quickly as she had found success, Aubrey's dreams came crashing down very quickly. The public would not be privy to the real reason why P. Diddy fired Aubrey O'Day until later towards 2022 when she went on a podcast and shared the truth of what was really going on behind the scenes with P. Diddy. Aubrey has explained that in many ways, Diddy has a system to take advantage of his artists that are signed underneath him. And the top of that system began with Diddy withholding publishing rights from the artists who made him the wealthy billionaire that he is today. I don't know if you guys remember, back in September of 2023, Diddy announced that he was going to be giving back the publishing rights to all of the artists signed underneath Bad Boy Entertainment. When this was announced by Diddy and his team, this was painted in a way to make Diddy look like he was just a generous man trying to do the right thing, a way to say thank you to his artists who have given him so much success. This was obviously a publicity stunt. Diddy even tried to assure us in his announcement that this was not a publicity stunt, but realistically, those artists should have had their rights to publishing as it was. They should have been collecting their royalties, and Diddy had anywhere from 15 to 25 years to correct this mistake, and he just so happened to do it in September of 2023, just as a random act of generosity. Even TMZ was singing his praises, very naively assuming that Diddy is capable of doing anything anything out of the kindness of his own heart. But despite TMZ's glowing review, a lot of us were left skeptical. A lot of us have known who P. Diddy is for quite some time now. At least many of us have been aware since 2018 when Kim Porter passed away, and some people even clocked it years before that. Just a few months ago, we were all proved correct that our theory that this was a publicity stunt was 100% correct, because Aubrey O'Day went onto a few podcasts and she has completely exposed that there's a lot more to this publishing rights deal. According to Aubrey, multiple artists who were signed under Diddy were reached out to and presented with an offer to get back their publishing rights in exchange for signing an NDA.
I just want to throw you the facts. The deal that we were offered, this is what it is. You can have your rights back to your music after Puff went under and somebody else bought our catalog. So this is long after we have 2 double platinum albums, $14, $15 an album from 2 million albums is, what is the math on that, 48 million? I worked for free for the first 6-7 years of my career. So streaming for the past couple years, it's about $800, $900. And in order to get that, I have to release him for any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release. I have to sign an NDA that I will never disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs' music, or EMI, or Sony ever in public.
Take a step back and think about this. Why would Diddy want to round up all of the artists who have worked under his label throughout his entire career, round them up, offer them a deal that seems somewhat lucrative to them? All they have to do is be quiet about it and not say anything bad about P. Diddy. Now, keeping in mind, Diddy's act of generosity happened in September of 2023. And 2 months later, in November of 2023, Cassie filed her absolutely explosive lawsuit that will be a power move that goes down in history in the entertainment industry. I think the reason that we are seeing a lot of artists silent in the industry right now that have worked with Diddy in the past might be because of the NDA that they signed in exchange for their publishing rights, not understanding that Diddy probably knew things were about to get real rough for him. I mean, think about how many artists he's worked with, from rap to R&B to pop. If they signed an NDA, they are not going to be saying anything on social media whatsoever. If we're going to hear anything out of a majority of the celebrities who were connected to Diddy, it will be because they were subpoenaed to testify for whatever reason. Now, back to Aubrey. Why do we think Diddy wanted her specifically to sign an NDA? In 2022, Aubrey O'Day went onto a podcast and finally revealed the truth of what actually happened and why she was fired from Danity Kane and Bad Boy Entertainment. And Aubrey very directly put it that she was fired because she refused to fulfill non-music requests for P. Diddy. So I want to go into more detail about some of the experiences that Aubrey has alleged have happened while she worked with P. Diddy, but I do kind of want to follow a timeline so that we can see how P. Diddy, Don Jr., and Playboy all tie in to like the same world as Aubrey O'Day. So around 2007, 2008, when Danity Kane was still a group, Aubrey began expanding her options in the entertainment industry. She began to do more adult, more risque modeling while still doing this girls group. Right around when things started getting shaky with her contract with Bad Boy Entertainment and her relationship with Diddy started to get a little bit rocky, Aubrey would appear on the cover of Playboy. Many have speculated that Diddy was a key figure in helping Aubrey O'Day land this Playboy cover shoot. As it has been speculated, he has helped others of his artists or friends land opportunities in Playboy. Another artist who is an example of someone who worked with P. Diddy and then was offered a deal with Playboy was Lil' Kim in 1996. After she had a song come out with P. Diddy called No Time, she was offered a 7-figure deal with Playboy. She turned this offer down. I personally believe that there is a treasure trove of connections between Playboy and Diddy, Hugh Hefner and Diddy, especially with all of the rumors and the blueprints that Playboy released showing the underground tunnels that are allegedly built underneath the Playboy home and lead to other homes in the neighborhood has always been such a strange mystery to me, especially given the context that Diddy lived just a few doors down from the Playboy mansion for years. Anyway, back to Aubrey. So while Aubrey was on TV, contestant on Making the Band, it became very obvious that Diddy's affections and his demeanor towards her began to change over time, and it definitely translated through the screen.
You want to show all your skin. You want to be naked. But the whole concept of Danity Kane was like, when it comes together, it's one.
Puff's going hard on the group, and then all of a sudden he singles me out and starts going on and on about how unhappy he is with me. And I just feel like nothing that I do, he's ever happy with.
Can I ask a question? What do you want to look like, though? Do you want to look like a Playboy playmate? Do you want to look like you?
I'm done with all of that.
No. What do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you.
What do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you. I'm not focused on me. I'm focused on what this group should look like and how I should fit in this
During
situation.
Aubrey's audition, Diddy was captivated by her ability to dance, her amazing vocals, and her overall star quality. By the time that 2008 rolled around, Diddy was publicly calling her the worst dancer in Danity Kane. He almost seemed disgusted by the way that she would flaunt her body.
If you're not happy, you hate me, then why you have me here?
I don't have to have you here. That's one thing that we can make clear. That's one thing we can make clear.
But
I don't have to have you here. I'm trying.
Why do you have me here? Because everybody's just such a problem.
I have you here because I feel you talented. But don't get it twisted. I'm starting to think about why do I have you here. Okay, so you clear on that though. Check this out. You clear on that. You understand now. I'm asking myself why do I have you here. So I'll move on to something else. No, and I'll give you the answer soon. All right? And you may not be here then.
Before it gets to
and anybody want to go with you, they could go too.
Stating that her seductive image was going to be the downfall of Danity Kane, which is so strange given the context that Aubrey alleges she was fired from Bad Boy Entertainment. She was fired from Danity Kane because she refused to cross physical boundaries with Diddy that made her uncomfortable.
Wasn't willing to do what was expected of me. Not talent-wise, but in other areas.
Then he publicly lashes out on her for showing off her body too much. Sounds like a typical reaction from a little boy who gets rejected. I genuinely believe that Aubrey O'Day was fired because Diddy's ego was hurt and she was not malleable enough for him to keep around.
God put this group together, and it's God's will that will decide what's really gonna happen. Whether he speaks through you,
Don't bring God in this, because if y'all bring God in this with y'all petty, y'all disrespecting God.
One other thing that occurred that I believe bruised P. Diddy's ego deeply was in 2008, the same year that she was fired, Aubrey O'Day went on to 50 Cent's reality TV game show, The Money and the Power, and she appeared as a guest judge. And we remember the beef between 50 Cent and P. Diddy has been going on since 2006. So 2 years after the beef began, one of his artists appears on 50 Cent's show. I'm sure he absolutely had a tantrum and a meltdown and was sliding down the wall about it. When it was all over for Danity Kane, Aubrey still wanted to be on the stage and she began performing on Broadway. As we remember, she received a degree in drama from her university. Aubrey was also given a reality TV show by the Oxygen Network called All About Aubrey, but this only went on for one season. As time went on, Aubrey O'Day was landing more and more adult modeling gigs, appearing in Maxim, Complex, Blender. Her biggest priority was remaining somewhat in the industry because she wanted to focus on reality TV. And again, I am not going over every single detail of Aubrey O'Day's life. This is very surface level. In 2012, Aubrey O'Day got a lot of attention from the media when she appeared on season 5 of Donald Trump's Celebrity Apprentice. That is where the viral clip of Trump stating that P. Diddy was a good guy and a good friend of his comes from. Aubrey was not well liked on her season by viewers at all. People were calling her ruthless and evil. But despite how much the viewers did not like Aubrey, she did make it to 3rd place before she was fired by Trump. But Aubrey competing in Celebrity Apprentice was not going to be the end of her ties to the Trump family. And this is going to get a little messy, bear with me here. So while filming Celebrity Apprentice, before the season had even aired, Aubrey would meet Donald Trump's son, Don Jr., behind the scenes while filming, and the two would begin a romance. Also, notably, in 2011, Don Jr. and his wife, Vanessa, were expecting their 3rd child, a little boy. And that little boy was born in October of 2011, after this rendezvous had already began between Aubrey and Don Jr. According to Aubrey, this affair went on for many, many years, but ultimately ended when Don Jr. made the decision to clean up his image to look better as his father prepared to campaign to become president. Aubrey has publicly stated that she was deeply in love with Don Jr. Jr., and she truly believed that he was her soulmate. Insiders close to Don Jr. have alleged that the feelings were mutual, and Don Jr. was also deeply in love with Aubrey and even contemplated leaving his wife to be with Aubrey. But allegedly, ultimately, Don Jr. stayed with his wife Vanessa due to pressure from the family that were concerned about the optics. Don Jr. promptly blocked Aubrey on all social media and her phone number. But Aubrey has revealed that in 2018, after Vanessa divorced Don Jr., he promptly unblocked Aubrey on everything. A few videos ago, we talked about Don Jr. and Donald Trump in the way they would be frequent flyers at the Playboy Mansion, and we shared a clip of an interview that Don Jr. did at the Playboy Mansion where he made disgusting comments about how he was not having a great time at the Playboy Mansion because his pregnant wife wanted to tag along. He's always doing weird stuff while she is pregnant. Thank God she got out in 2018. But in interviews more recently where Aubrey has reflected on her affair with Don Jr., she has expressed that the man that she was in love with is not the same man that she has seen in the political sphere today, and she considers him a complete sellout. After the public falling out between Aubrey and Diddy, looking back and seeing her talk about P. Diddy in later interviews after this falling out, it's very obvious she was uncomfortable to say too much about P.
Diddy definitely was able to get our names out to a large number of people, and that's something that all of us are very thankful for. I'd say, Diddy is very specific, and he likes things done a certain way, and so I constantly had to be striving for perfection with him. And
Puffy didn't like your sexy image.
do you think that's the truth?
Well, I also think that he's had you, but everybody denies it. I think that there was at least one time where Puffy loved your sexy image.
I'm sure he loved my sexy image, but you've had me here so many times now, you know what it is. I'm on your team, girl.
You tell me at least
I got
three
fired.
things.
I wouldn't have gotten fired if I was on that team.
As Cassie and other women began coming forward and sharing their experiences of what happened with P. Diddy, Aubrey O'Day was one of the first people to voice her support and encourage other victims to share their story. And she has expressed that it takes a lot of bravery to come forward against someone who is as powerful as P. Diddy. And she has tried to kind of share more and more her experiences without sharing too much. I think that Aubrey O'Day knows a lot more than what she has shared so far, and I think that she is trying to protect herself by not sharing too much, whether she's trying to protect her physical safety or her own mental health. Either one, I think she knows a lot that she is not ready to share yet. And while Aubrey O'Day has had her fair share of scandals and messy moments in the media, I have to say I really respect the way she has offered her explicit support on so many occasions to the victims of P. Diddy while recognizing she's a victim herself. So that is how Aubrey O'Day ties in with the P. Diddy, the Trump, the Playboy topics that we have been talking about right now. Aubrey O'Day is someone who I'm going to keep my eye on because I believe that we are going to be hearing more from her in the near future.